Freedom Fighters, I'm coming back at you with another one. Not gonna do your normal Friday weekly wrap up this time. I'm kind of going back to the basics, the root of the channel, where we kind of talk about ideological beliefs or, kind of stick to a certain topic of the day. But, my last video of what is freedom, and I realized when I went back and edited that video and, went back through it that I kind of just beat it around the bush and never really got to the true answer. It's kind of what happens when I go on my long-winded rants there. Some of my friends and my people call it the way freedom sees it, the way freedom sees the world. But anyway, I mean to get to the short story part of what is freedom that I never really got to is it's basically your ability to do what you want without interference as long as you're not harming anyone. And one of the things that I've said before, my stance on the LGBTQ community, the gay stuff, I personally don't understand it. I don't support it, but it's been my stance on freedom that has kind of made me flip flop on that issue, where I'm just like, you know, it is what it is. Like, live and let be, or whatnot. I mean, my religious side, take on it is that it's not right, but, I feel like our country was like, in the 70s and stuff like that, it was like, okay, let people live their lives or whatnot. And it only became recently where it got, out of control. Where now there's a freaking month for it. And it's not even a month. It's really all year long. It's constantly in your face. You're getting beat over the head with it. And they turned it into a freak show. So, it's a totally different thing now. And then don't even get me started about, the parades and the drag and story hour, in your kid's school and everything. That's, it's that slippery slope, right? Like you give them an inch, they take a mile, and that's where we're at, 40, 50 years later. But, at the end of the day, it's basically like freedom, I don't believe in, kicking down doors or, hunting these people in the streets or, not being barbaric savages like in the Middle East and throwing them off buildings or, sending them to the guillotine or anything. But, if two consenting adults, decide they're going home with each other that night or whatnot, it's really like the freedom part of me is like, just let it ride. Like, and then I have other beliefs that are, like it's wrong and all that, but at the end of the day, that's what it is, man. If you're not harming anybody, and it hones back to a more basic thing of rights and individual liberties, which I was getting to in the end of that video, the what is freedom. And it's specifically when it comes to like the First and Second Amendment, which is mainly the topics that I cover. If you're new to this channel, again, like and subscribe. I do news and we talk about current events, politics, stuff like this. Every once in a while, I try to do like gear reviews or camping videos, travel vlogs, stuff like that. But share the content. Follow me on other platforms. I do have a backup channel on Rumble. And mainly, I post to True Social, and I do have an X account as well. They're all Freedom Fighter 1861, and then on X, it's Fighter at 1861. But anyway, man, I'm already 5 minutes into this thing here, and I haven't even gotten to where I wanted to talk about was, the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. What I was getting to at the end of that video of what is freedom was, a lot of people say, oh yeah, even friends and family, that I have these conversations with who see themselves as freedom oriented people, or, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment. I know a lot of FUDs, and it's like, oh yeah, I believe in the Second Amendment and, the Constitution and all this. I'm like, it's not even about, the Constitution, and it's not about the way they view it is wrong. But anyway, what is the Constitution and all this? And basically, the point I'm getting down to is what came first, right? The chicken or the egg? You know the saying. And, how I look at it is man came first, right? I can't solve the chicken or the egg question, but I can solve this one. What came first, man or government? It's like man came first, man created the government, man has the power over government. It's not the other way around. And it's not about what you can do. People think like the Constitution gave you your rights. It's a list, it's a guideline of what government can't do. It's their limits. You have natural rights, that supersede the formation of government. When the people, when the founding fathers came together and said, like, we're free men, and, all this, like, they were saying we already have these rights, but we need to lay it out, and basically the Declaration of Independence, and say that this is what we are: a sovereign people, a sovereign nation. We're doing over our thing over here. We're separate from you. We're free, and this is a guideline of our new government what they can't do. And it's not like I need to tell you that you can breathe, right? It's very clear you have the right to breathe. The gift of life was given to you from God. You don't need anybody to tell you about it or say, like, oh yeah, that's what you can do. And that's why, most of the commie countries, they outlaw religion, or if it's not downright outlawed, it's not well looked upon, and it's not really out there in the mainstream, because they don't want you seeking that higher purpose. They want you worshiping the state. You look at China and stuff like that. They have holidays, but it's not around, surfaced around God. Even like Christmas, it's just it's a festival time to put lights up and celebrate winter. It's basically the winter solstice. But they don't have a culture of actually celebrating, Jesus or God. You look at Cuba and stuff like that. I think they have outlawed Christmas. I don't think you can put up lights or, any celebration of that stuff. A lot of, of course, countries in the Middle East, because they're anti-Christian, but they have religious states, so it's not that religion is outlawed, it's just Christianity. But, for the most part, a lot of commie places rule out religion because, again, they want you worshiping the state. But it goes back to a video I once did, God or Government, or, God versus Government. And you basically have to realize what side are you siding with. And it came down to when DeSantis signed the constitutional carry, and I did a video on that, and I'm like, you already had the right, and I see this all the time, with the Republican, conservative side, whatever you want to call them. They don't understand this part, and it's, oh, he's so great. Whenever you're Republican mayor, governor, congressman, whatever, puts forward some laws, like, oh, they're based, or they're, I gained something. They gave me something that you already had. And that's what people don't understand. And, I saw someone say one time, was like, when, I think it was when he signed that, and it perfectly, laid it out. It's like, if this is what you needed, was the permission, then the 2A, it went over your head. Like, you already had that right. Um, and if you're asking permission, and if all along, you were waiting for Governor DeSantis to sign constitutional carry, which is just a farce anyway, which has, provisions in it telling you still what you cannot do when the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. All it was permitless carry. So you're allowed to conceal carry without a permit, but you still can't open carry in Florida. There's still, you know, all the federal regulations are in place. You can't have suppressors, can't have full autos, you can't do the thousands of things that will get you in trouble with the law, that the police won't kick down your door and put a bullet in your head for. And Florida will gladly allow them, give them the warrant, and allow the police to do so. Um, and I did a video one time called the Democrat Plantation, and this is like the Republican plantation, right? They make you think that you need them, and the Republic, again, we've talked about it tons of times, right? It's different sides of the wing. It's two wings on the same bird. They always come together, and that video will be coming again very soon, because I don't know if you saw this spending bill that's coming up, and Trump is attacking Massey because he's not gonna go for it. I think Ron Paul also said he's against it. Again, it's another bloated spending bill full of garbage. And he's like, this whole Doge thing is supposed to be stopping this spending, but here you are again. And Trump is, talking about all this stuff. And he did it last time. We talked about the omnibus bill, and, and again, they talk a big game, no matter what it's about. If it's about spending, if it's about no wars, yet here he is, talking about now we need to send troops, or he's Ukraine, weapons and aid is back on the table. The military industrial complex is in this bill. I mean, I don't want to get too much into it because that'll be, the future video. But again, it's all contrary to freedom. It's all contrary to your rights. And, that's pretty much the point I wanted to make here today. Let me know what you think. As always, we can have the discussion or debate. What do you think about it? What is true freedom? Does the Constitution or the Bill of Rights lay out that freedom for you? Like I said, man, I think it's inherent. I don't need a document or anything to tell me what I'm allowed to do. If this is the land of the free, then your ability to do it is just pretty much well spoken for. But man, you know what it is, man. Until the next one, we are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom Fighters out.